Bonjour!
And welcome to the Wulff.
I didn't prepare how to say that in that language. Today we're going to talk about why SpiderMan sucks. SpiderMan, one of my favorite superheroes.
Would you say he is your favorite superhero?
See, before we had this conversation, I would have said yes. But the more in recent years, I've been more into Batman because of you and because his stories are really good.
Yeah. See, here's my whole take on Spider-Man. Spider-Man, as a core concept, is one of the best characters, not just in comics, but in fiction.
Right.
The problem is, for some reason, everybody just writes the worst stories about Spider-Man.
Yes.
Even, don't get me wrong, there are good Spider-Man stories. But even good writers who write good Spider-Man stories almost immediately follow that up with a really bad Spider-Man story.
Right.
And we're talking across all mediums here, not just comics.
Let's get to the worst part of it. Probably the reason I totally made Spider-Man from here to here. The Superior Spider-Man. If you haven't been following along with comics, which I don't blame you. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Dr. Octopus. I got a lot to say. Hold on. Dr. Octopus was sick and dying, and Peter Parker came over to him, and they had a little conversation or a little confrontation, and then Dr. Octopus did something stupid, and they switched bodies. So now Peter Parker ended up being sick and dying, and Dr. Octopus is he's now Spider-Man. And they call it Superior Spider-Man. And that story was stupid, as most Spider-Man stories were. But this story has been going on for almost a year.
Yes. That's
how stupid Spider-Man stories are.
That's the problem I have with that story. If that was just, say, a 6-issue miniseries, that would have been fine. Because that's standard fare. But the fact that Marvel, for a year, has been pushing, this is the status quo, this is what it's going to be, forever until the end of time. When we know damn well there was another Spider-Man movie coming out with Peter Parker as Spider-Man, so Marvel isn't going to let that, cause confusion.
We all know that in comic books if somebody dies, it's not real. They could always come back. Peter
Yes.
Parker has been dead for a year. We know he's coming back.
Yeah.
Stop teasing us about it.
I mean, thank you for bringing him back in April.
Yeah, he's not even back yet.
Yeah. I would say that Superior Spider-Man... First of all, I'll be upfront. I have not read Superior Spider-Man, but I have heard from people who I trust that it is good, and I'm sure it is.
I've heard the exact opposite.
It's not the Spider-Man I want to read for a year as the de facto Spider-Man.
And people who want to jump in and start reading Spider-Man, who have never read Spider-Man before,
now's
but just
the
are
worst
really
time.
interested in the character. For me, I'm not a fan of his comic books. I haven't really read any of his comic books that stick with me. But he is one of my favorite characters because I grew up with him.
Yeah.
And I know his story. I've heard his story 1,000 times, and I think his story is awesome. But his stories in the comics are not awesome. And if I wanted to jump in and just start reading the comics now, I'm going to pick it up and go, what's going on? Wait, that's not Dr. Octopus.
The thing is with Spider-Man, I feel like all the best stories have already been told. The original, from the 60s to the mid-80s.
Yeah, but you can always...
Those are the stories that the Raimi films are based on, that the 94 cartoon was based on, that Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon was based on.
But that's not a reason why the stories should still suck.
I know, I'm not saying that...
Still suck.
I'm not saying that's a reason why the stories still suck. I'm saying, it seems like all the best stories have been taken already.
Right.
I don't want to just go out and say that there are no good Spider-Man comics, because that's not true. There are really good Spider-Man comics.
Right.
But the problem is, it just seems like every good Spider-Man comic is followed immediately after by a really bad one. The best example of this is J. Michael Straczynski's run in the 2000s, because he would do one really good story and then follow it up with something really head scratchingly bad.
What were these stories I needed to?
There was a little story that led up to the 500th issue of Amazing Spider-Man where Spider-Man's fighting all these people in Times Square with the Avengers, and then he gets lost in time and starts reliving all of his memories.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was immediately followed by, I believe it's called Sins of the Father, where it's revealed that Gwen Stacy and Green Goblin had kids.
I don't remember that.
Through, doing that.
See, I'm lucky because he gets all the comics, he reads them, and then he decides whether or not I should read them.
Yeah.
So I didn't get that one.
I still have it.
I don't want to read it. I mean, you just want Spider-Man to be a certain... Like, when I pick up a Batman comic, I know what I'm getting. I know, this is Batman, this is his character, this is what I want to see.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm going to get. Spider-Man, now I pick up this is what I want, pick up a comic, this is not Spider-Man.
It's just, I feel like the only person who recently has done Spider-Man any, justice, the best person to do Spider-Man, is Brian Michael Bendis. He's been writing Ultimate Spider-Man for, almost 15 years now. It's ridiculous. But the problem,
Ultimate Spider-Man, I've heard, is really good.
Yeah, but the problem with that is... Peter Parker hasn't been the Ultimate Spider-Man for a while. Miles Morales is, and that's fine. Whatever. He's not the main Spider-Man. But if somebody would come up to me and says I want to read pure Spider-Man, I have to be very specific when I tell him.
Yeah, if you want to pick up a Spider-Man book, you can't necessarily pick up Ultimate Spider-Man because it's not Peter Parker, and it's not even real Spider-Man. He doesn't have all the same powers.
Yeah.
So it's good. I've heard it's really, really good, but. Again, if you want your Spider-Man fix, that's not going to be it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to wait. If you want, real Spider-Man... Right now, the only place you can get Peter Parker is Ultimate Spider-Man, the cartoon on Disney Channel. And I would not recommend that at all. I mean, if you want, real Peter Parker, you have to wait till April, till Amazing Spider-Man relaunches. Or, wait till the second Andrew Garfield movie comes out, whenever that is. Going back to Batman, you can name, a bunch of great Batman stories off the top of your head. People do that. Year One, Long Halloween, Dark Victory, Hush, Dark Knight Returns, Man Who Laughs, The Killing Joke, Nightfall, No Man's Land,
I can't
Court of Owls.
I can't name any for Spider-Man.
Blah, blah. The ones I can name for Spider-Man, I can name two definite, classics. One that is considered a classic, but I don't particularly agree with. And then... all the rest,
What is it? You gotta name it.
Alright, the two good ones are The Night Gwen Stacy Died and Spider-Man No More.
What about Spider-Man Blue? I've heard that one was really good.
I've heard that one was good too. I haven't read it though, so I can't confirm. Alright, so 3. The mediocre one is Kraven's Last Hunt. People go bonkers for that story. I did not particularly care for that. And then the rest is One More Day, The Others, Sins of the Father, Spectacular Spider-Man, Maximum Carnage. The comic Maximum Carnage is not very good. The game, for all your nostalgia for the game, the comic is not good. The comic is essentially, every issue is, because Spider-Man teams up with a whole bunch of people to take out Carnage, and every issue is Venom saying we have to murder Carnage to stop him, and Black Hat going, no, we have to be better than that. We can't just straight up kill him. And Spider-Man being all, I don't know what to do for 13 issues.
And that's why Batman's better.
Yes.
Because he knows what he wants to do.
Yes, he just goes in there, breaks a couple bones, and goes back to the house.
Yes.
It's frustrating, because at the core of this character is, again, one of the best written characters ever. I made an argument with one of my English teachers that we should not be reading Catcher in the Rye. We should be reading Spider-Man because he's a better representation of being a teenager than Holden Caulfield ever is and ever will be, and I stand by that. But I don't know if I would do that now because all of his stories just get worse and worse.
Yeah, you can't. I would not recommend picking up a Spider-Man book over anybody else.
Yeah. I mean...
until then the Amazing Spider-Man #1 might be good.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, because Dan Slott has written good Spider-Man. But he just...
Really?
Yes, he has. He just hasn't been doing it very recently. I mean, I like Spider Island for all of its...
It was alright.
Yeah. But I wouldn't put it up there with, like, classics.
Definitely not.
So that's what we have to say on Mr. Amazing, Spectacular, Sensational, whatever other adjectives you want to put in front of his name.
You tell us what you have to say. Defend Spider-Man or
Yes.
shit on him like we just did. I still love him.
Yeah, I'm still going to see the movie when it comes out.
Yeah.
But-
That's another thing, that movie. It was alright. So, again, let us know what you think.
Yes.
Leave it in the comments below. Add us on Twitter, @BobWolff.
At Will Wolf, damn it.
Am I off? No, I gotta do it here because so it starts. So
Yeah.
it's not off. So it's not off camera. Like if you like, subscribe if you really like.
Leave comments, share with your friends.
Share with your friends that like Spider-Man. Share
Yes.
with your friends that hate Spider-Man.
We'll see where we're
And
at.
again, we want to hear from you. Oh! Hit us up on the Facebooks, because by the time this comes out, we're going to be on Facebook. Maybe we'll have 100 subscribers by then.
Maybe.
Thank you very much for subscribing like that. Thank you very much. Have a good week.
Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not that the show didn't age well. It's that the show was just never good. And I didn't know that because I was 9 when the show aired.
So how old is too old to be playing video games? Let's start with high school. No. That was easy. Let's move on to college.